Hello everyone, it's 3:57 p.m. It is October 16th. Happy Monday. It's not happy Monday for everybody, okay? Because we all know Monday is a day that's kind of slow and it's kind of the day that you dread having to deal with, but hopefully you guys are getting through the day, okay? So I wanted to talk about some downloads that I've been getting, and I'm going to go ahead and start off with the first one. So the first one is that people think I should be a singer now, which I think is kind of funny because I've always loved singing. I've always loved it. I remember when I was in school, I liked being in choir. Because I got a chance to sing, even if it was with a group of people, it was always fun to do so. And I remember when I was younger, I used to, lip sync a lot in the bathroom, mainly because I felt like I wanted to be a singer that bad, because I just felt like music was like the best way of expressing yourself, and I still agree that it is. I love music. And sometimes like I'll listen to certain music and then it's not even so much the words. Sometimes it's just like the instruments in the background. It just all blends well together. And of course music can carry on just so many different emotions. But I think that's great that people think I should be a singer. I will say though, because of my age, I think it would be, I don't know, maybe I'm just one of those people. Like when I think of people who make it big and stuff like that in the music industry, I generally think of young people. I mean, like young people starting their careers, and then when they already established and they can move on from there. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see myself like being in like teen magazines and like starting this trend. I just feel like some stars have what they call like I don't know, a certain style or something. I just always, maybe I'm underestimating myself. I don't know, but I do enjoy singing, and maybe in the future, if I get the right equipment, I might do some songs on my videos. But for now, singing is just something that I do to either calm myself down, to feel happy when I'm expressing happiness. Sometimes when I'm in my house, I'll turn on some music and I'll just kind of sing along with it and stuff because I don't know. It's just something I do when I'm bored. I guess I'm always going to be attached to music in some way. Okay, another one I got is, which I already kind of suspected this. Like I mentioned in my last video, I believe the alphas have been following me around pretty much all my life. It was a study, right? And I know this sounds silly, but ever since I was like, I would say about 19 years old, I started noticing, and I could be wrong, but I don't think so, because these people are very powerful and they have the ability to do so. I think that they inspired a lot of things based off of me. Now, I know this sounds like silly, but like for example, all right, this is just an example. Okay, let's just say, for example, I'm 14 years old, and for some strange reason, I have this need to listen to Ethel Merman. And I can't say that I'm one of her fans, but this is just an example. Okay, I'm 14 years old. It's like in the 80s, and I'm developing an interest in Ethel Merman, right? So I'm starting to collect her records, and I'm listening to her and everything else. Then you start going to department stores and you start seeing Ethel Merman stuff on sale. You know what I mean? I really do believe that somehow, some way, and I started noticing these sort of things when I was a teenager. When if I took an interest in something, it would become like a trend. You know what I mean? And I think that somehow or another I had something to do with this based on them studying me for such a very long time. Isn't that crazy? Second one, I'm sorry, the third one I should say, is that I'm not sure. Like, as I'm doing these like meditative downloads, I'm getting that I was born either in the UK or I was born in Africa. Now, I tend to think that I was born in the UK. And if so, it could be explained my reason why I've always had crushes when I was growing up on British men. I've always been attracted to British men, since I was a kid. I love the way they talk. I don't know. There's just something about British men. I've always had an interest in that. So maybe there might be. I don't know. Even though I'm psychic, I cannot pinpoint whether I was born in Africa or the UK. Okay, and so as time goes on, I will know. I don't believe that it's really relevant at this point, but maybe there will come a point where it, the forces will feel as though, hey, it's important that you know this, okay? But for now, I know that I am I want to say descendant, but I can't really say that. I'm a clone of, I call him my prince, okay? Because I'm like so happy and like I'm developing this like relationship with my prince, right? I'm happy about that. Very happy about that. Okay, the next one would be that my dad is at peace. I believe my dad and my mother is at peace. I dealt with that the last few days, I'm so emotional, but and I really think it's important for me to stop saying negative things about my mom because I'm really starting to understand the sacrifices that she made just to have me in the house. You know what I mean? So I try to see things, from both sides in every argument, even if sometimes that puts me in a bad light or whatever. I try to because it's inside me to want to be fair and to be just. But most of all, I have to say that, if things were turned around, if I was in her place, how would I feel? And I fully understand that. I do believe that my mom and my dad are at peace, and I don't worry about their souls anymore. But, I do feel bad, for the times that they struggled, the times that they felt as though maybe it was getting a little too much for them, but they, endured anyway. And I do thank them for letting me live. Basically. Okay, so let me see here. The fifth one would be people see me as a woman of substance, which is good because I do believe that's important. And they think that I'm worthy of a romantic life. Well, that's nice, but I'm a single girl. Okay, I don't really have any plans on getting married anytime soon. I really don't think I'm ever going to get married. The idea doesn't really appeal to me. But I'm not saying never, but nothing inside me feels that way. But I do think it's nice to know that if I wanted to go find someone, I could go and do that. You know what I mean? And of course, there's a lot of good-looking men, a lot of good-looking British men that I think are very attractive. But at this moment in time, Maria's just kind of hanging out, doing her thing. Okay, now this is a big one. This is a huge one. And actually, it was so huge that I wanted to say this before I said anything else in this video. But, you kind of have to work up that, that excitement or whatever. But, I was thinking about, I'm going to call it my creation, my creation. And so obviously the next question would be, who is my mother, right? And it flashed in my mind, and I kept thinking, okay, okay. Now, this particular person is one of the people that I used to pretend to be when I was growing up. I would go into the bathroom and stand on the edge of the tub because the tub was facing this particular mirror on the south side of the wall. And I would stand on top of the tub and I would look inside of it and just pretend that I was Diana Ross. Diana Ross is my mother. Diana Ross is my mother. And I remember looking at my eyes, and I remember looking at like the bridge of my nose when I was younger, and thinking, "Wow, how much I looked like her." So I'm very happy about that. Yeah, so that's what I've been getting, and I just wanted to come on here and make this video because it's you have to talk sometimes and you want to express your feelings, and we all know that Maria pretty much hangs out by herself. Before I decided to make this video, I was working, of course, on content. There's a lot of content that I'm working on. People are like, hurry up, Maria. I'm getting there. But, I will say, I don't like to use the word waste a lot of time, but these downloads sometimes it's just like, it just leads to more and more questions like, well, what about this? And what about that? What about this? What about that? It does. It sucks up a lot of my time, and please forgive me for that, but it's a part of my lifestyle, to get downloads, to listen. It does help me too because, if I didn't have this guiding force, I would be lost and might do things that are inappropriate. I I try to get these downloads and get confirmation before, like, for example, I really had to sit there and think about whether I should make a video about me being the spawn of, Prince Alamelehu. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I need to like really write it down phonetically correct so that way I get used to saying it. But right now, in my mind, he's just my prince. Okay. But yeah, I have to sit here and I have to like really say, okay, is it okay? Like, what are people going to say? And I don't care what people say about me so much, but I know that everything, all my videos are pretty far-fetched because everything about my life is pretty out there, right? But I'm glad to know where I came from. It makes a lot of sense to me. Um, you know, um, I can't even express it. I'm very glad to know that I am related to Diana Ross, someone I have admired for a very, very long time. She's got a great voice. She's very elegant. I'm blown away. I don't even know what to say anymore, so I'm going to wrap this video up. Oh, wait, you know what? Before I do, I'm just going to go ahead and throw out some celebrity shout-outs really quick, because I keep these in my book, so when people come into my head, I write them down. Okay, so let's start with the first one. The first one is Michael Stipe from REM. I would say that you helped me get along in high school. Like, I loved your music. I always felt like your lyrics were very, I don't know, they were just very beautiful, and I loved your voice. Also, I want to say hi to Michelle Pfeiffer. I've always liked her. Loved looking at her face. Her face is very beautiful. Let's see. Steve Perry. I love your voice. Love your voice, and I think that, growing up, I always enjoyed, listening to you when you came on the radio. And then I was thinking about Mike Myers. Mike Myers popped into my head a couple of times, it's funny, like when he pops into my head, he always pops into my head as Austin Powers. And then all of a sudden, the Austin Powers kind of fades away, and then I can see his little cute face, his real face, without that funny grin on his face. But yeah, I've always liked Mike Myers. Hello, Mike Myers. Okay, and then I was thinking how cool Stevie Nicks has always been. I've always thought Stevie Nicks was incredible. Obviously, mystical people tend to gravitate towards other mystical people. So I would say that Stevie Nicks was a big part of my life, and I always admired her. And her voice is just like, it's just amazing. Kev Mo, I love this man. I think he's beautiful. I think when I think of African Americans and the beauty of the music that was contributed to this country, I think of him. To me, he's just like a very strong person, and he's original, and I love his voice. He's got a lot of talent. And then I was thinking about someone that I remember loved looking at, was fixated on when I was a kid, okay? I mean, like, I loved looking at this woman. And no, not in a, like, perverted way, but just like a woman where I would just look at her and say, oh my God, she is a beautiful woman. That would be Marie Osmond. I have always loved Marie Osmond. I know she loves dolls, too. She's a beautiful woman, and I love seeing her all the time. Now I want to say to Dave Gahan from Depeche Mode, you made life so much fun, and I loved your music. A very talented person. When I think of my teenage years, you immediately pop into my mind. And then I also wanted to say hello to Neil Young. I've always loved your music. I don't know, you're just so, I don't know, you're deep. I like you. I also want to say hi to Donny Osmond. Donny Osmond was another person I was fixated on. Love their face. I love seeing them together, but I also like seeing them apart. You know what I mean? Because I understand. I mean, you are individual people, right? And you're both individual beautiful people, and I've always loved seeing you, and you still have that boyish look about you, which is a blessing, show that off more. I also want to say hi to, I know that people are going to trip out on this, but I want to say hi to Pope Francis, and I was thinking, how I remember when I was younger, a lot of people used to get blessings in their home, and I think that's something that should come back, because, people sometimes move into houses where the energy is really off, and they don't really have the skill or the training to do house blessings. And I was talking to a Catholic person one time. He was telling me that, that they do that in their church. And I know some churches are aware of like those little negative, nasty energies that lurk in houses. But I think that would be really cool if people started doing that again. Only because, there's a lot of unseen forces that, people might need help with. But that's just a suggestion, hey, that would be cool if you did that. Anyway, let's see. Oh, Jeffrey Lenny. I hope I'm pronouncing your name. From ELO. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry, my writing is so shitty. It really is. I write things down and I can't even read it. But anyway, ELO, I love your music. And I remember my mom, that song Mr. Blue Sky would come on in the morning when my mom would get me ready for school. We used to keep all my little hair barrettes in like this Weiler's can. Weiler's, that fake lemonade stuff. But once it was empty, my mom used to keep all my bows, my barrettes, and everything in there. And I just remember her like combing my hair and putting on little barrettes that would match my outfit. And hearing that song would just make going to school so much more fun, like, because the song would be in my head like all day long. It was just so cool. I love that. Oh yeah, and I also want to say hi to Ozzy Osbourne. I remember people used to say, I think people loved you because you were so different. You were so. Some people used to say that you were like, a lot of parents would talk about how Ozzy was like shocking and stuff, and it was a little too much for them at the time. And of course, when people say things like that, Maria's going to be interested in them. So of course, I always admired you. I think you're an amazing person. I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye bye.